Good morning. Um, Definitely more Scottish light this morning, and it's official. My hair is completely out of control. I'm starting to look more and more like a Beatle. I mean, the Beatles, the singers. If I played golf like the Beatles sang, then that'd be absolutely fantastic. People have asked me about grip size, and I have done a lot of exploration, not only in how I hold the club, but what I'm putting on the club. And it did have the question as to why do we taper a golf grip. I couldn't understand it. There was lots of people with lots of ideas, but nothing seemed to be, I don't know, logical. And when I looked at all other sports and all other hitting endeavours, grips seemed to be parallel. So why wasn't golf? So I explored by making my own parallel grips up before there was any available. And then now I've ended up with this. It's a Golf Pride, and it's, if you can see there, it's a CP2 Pro mid-size. Now, I've got tiny hands. I've got small men's FootJoy glove. That's what I wear. But through exploring the jumbos, the mid-size, the normal, that's what I've decided on. It's pretty well parallel. Tiny little taper at the end, but really, for the most, it's parallel, and that is what, to me, fits my feelings best. So that's what I've gone with. I've got them in all my clubs. I'm going to look at driving this morning and swishing that driver. It was heavy at this time of the morning swinging my driver, but we're going to do it from the standpoint of still exploring the awareness in the club and what we're doing with the club, the direction, the shaft, the face orientation, the amount of power. So still that, tying it in with, would it have collided with something a bit more difficult? We could use a tee in the garden, although tees can fly around a long way, or we can just swish it. But I'm also going to look, if I can, at correlation in this, because correlation in all shots to me is critical. So why are you standing the way you're standing? Why are you positioning your hands on the club the way you are? What's the purpose of that? And it always has to be driven by what I'm trying to do with the golf club, and ultimately what I'm trying to do with the golf ball. That's why I'm holding it and standing and moving the club the way I am. So what I like to do with the driver is bring the task to life a little bit, and then really start asking the question about, is this the most appropriate position to deliver force in whatever direction I'm trying to do that. Now, I like then to bring in my foam roller. It's literally a foam roller used to loosen out those muscles, but it's flat ended, and it also indicates kind of line of force because it's long. So I started messing about with this and hitting them. It was just amazing. I'm not going to hit one this morning because the noise is quite explosive, even at my poor level of power. I'll wake up all the neighbours. So it's more of a visual, and then back to that internal audit. Is there a better position? Back to feeling as if I was going to hit this with the back of my left hand, or the palm of my right, or a combination of both, where would I want to position that foam roller? And it certainly isn't where I used to stand to hit a golf ball. So I'm trying to find that feeling that, yeah, this is the most appropriate position. It leads the least amount of manipulation, just as I would with a hammer, to deliver force in whatever direction I'm looking to do. So that would be the next thing, trying to correlate that setup position, and then stay committed to the awareness of tracking the club as it moves and doing something intentionally with it. So this is, a lot of this is to do with line of force. I think that's one of the big things that I see people struggling with, especially with the driver. So big long stick, a big long tool, and it's a challenge to control. I've also put my spot, my chalk spot, and my chalk line on my foam roller, and I'm not going to do it because I'm going to turn around the other way. But if you can imagine, I sat it down like this, and I could put, oh sorry, like this, as I'm a right-hander, and put the club behind it. I don't know if you can see that. Yep, there. That would give me a visual of the ball being up off the ground and the line of force. But ultimately, I could just whack the end of this thing. So I'm going to show you the position that I would have adopted in the past, and I'm going to show you the position that I adopt now with regards to straight line of force. So neutral shot, draw spin, fade spin. So let's have a look at that. So I'm angling my, yeah, I've got my white spot now looking up at me as if it's a golf ball, but teed up quite high. This would have been my setup in the past. I don't think too many people would look at that and think, yeah, that's terrible. I always looked at my setup and thought it looks completely normal because it's pretty well what everybody else was doing. But especially when I took my my trail hand off, I felt if I only had my left hand to hit that, I could not have generated any power. I would have wanted to be more here. And I've kind of used that principle probably a thousand times in my life with other hitting endeavours. If I was going to chop a tree down, which I've not done very often, I wouldn't stand with the axe like this. I would stand like so. It feels less stress on my body and more appropriate. So why don't I adopt it in golf? So I've gone from here to there. Interestingly, it wants me to open up more. It tends to force that, but that openness is still directing force forward. And it feels as if the club would want to be more stable. I don't need to do so much to get it in position. So that would be it. If I wanted to draw spirit, I'd move my line of force to the right. So there was my neutral one there. And now I'm going to go here. So now I've got that line of force to the right, potential for a draw. If I get the club face right, tied in low, close to that path, ball should bend back. Likewise, turning it around left. This is a long way left. There's my line of force there. Club face would be open, ball would fade back. So that correlation to me really important. Setting up, getting my draw feeling, neutral straight feeling, lots of swings, accessing that feeling. Now, the other thing that I've noticed, and lots of people have noticed of course in the game, is that if we explore the attack angle, that's also can be very, very beneficial. As I'm a skinny old guy, technology did help me evaluate what club to buy, although there was a lot of clubs that really were so similar. But what was more important was that I could then explore delivering them differently using, I think it was a GC quad. Now, the ultimate efficiency for me came from about 7 or 8 degree attack angle on the up. So I was attacking the ball on the up dramatically, launching about 17 degrees. So it was launching really high. If I could get it turning over a tiny wee bit, that was optimal. If I then went back to maybe a squeeze cut to try and kind of keep the ball in the fairway, the drop off in power was astonishing. Fairway finder, but distance loss finder as well. So we need to be able to, again, if we can explore or enhance our ability to deliver these clubs differently, we could unlock an enormous amount of power. Let's look at all the things. Grip. What kind of grip? Is it appropriate? Go and explore that. The hold on the club, interlock, overlap, baseball. For me, 10 finger is the grip all day long. Then correlation at address. So finding a position where, you know what, I could give this a hit. If this was a fence pole lying in the ground, I was going to hit it with a sledgehammer, or this would be the position. If it was an axe, I was going to chop a tree down. If it was a nail and I was going to use a hammer, is the position at address you're adopting the one that you would adopt if the task was different and the tool was different? For me, it was like a big light bulb moment. If you've got a foam roller, get it out. If you can explore whacking it in the garden as well, but really we're trying to get that feeling of that position, and mainly line of force there. So neutral, straight for a neutral shot, turning it around to the right for the draw. Where do I need to get into that position? For me, the back of the left hand, getting that feeling of flatness there, where I could whack it with the back of my left hand, was a big thing. That tended to be true of all hitting endeavours for me. But then hitting it up. So how would I then, if I tilted that foam roller up slightly, what position would I adopt to do that? That has been a big breakthrough in increasing my length to well over 200 yards now. I mean, it's huge. So Dustin Johnson's got nothing to worry about, unfortunately, but that's been a powerful piece of exploration. So good luck with that. And we're going to be looking at putting over the next day or so. So have fun.